kids. I'm doing it for Kyle's heart.
I know, but okay.
What are you gonna do for the kids? Like,
Yeah,
if we
right.
don't make it,
You make it, bro.
He's going to
$50?
show him, I guess, anything can happen.
Just that you can trust me.
It's a miracle on Elm Street, folks.
You should at least put some money on it, like $50 if you make it, $100 if you don't.
Happening tomorrow. So, Kyle,
I will
put
be
your
there.
heart back together, my friend.
No, do it for the kids, Peter.
Bad day for Kyle.
Maddie, I always appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Gonzo, thank you. Kyle,
Love you guys.
Maddie, Juno, thank you. All right, keep it right here. You got Matt Connerton Unleashed coming up at 4 p.m., followed by the Majestic Theaters Through the Stage tour with our friend Rob Dion. And then if you missed it on Friday night, you can check out Retro Spectrum Radio at 7 o'clock tonight. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. It's a miracle on Elm Street, folks. See you tomorrow.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. I really wish you all a good Merry Christmas. I really do.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
Hey, Maddie, are you excited for the holidays?
I am, Peter, but I hope that Santa makes it to every kid's house in Manchester this year.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I know how you can help, though.
Wow, Peter, tell me more.
Well, I know the people of Manchester will band together to help our kids. It's going to be a miracle on Elm Street.
Peter, I believe in the people of Manchester too. What do we need to do?
Well, call the morning show any weekday from 7 to 9 when you can donate. The number is 603-250-6007.
Or you could send a check made out to Hope NH Inc. and send it to 1045 Elm Street, Suite 300, Manchester, New Hampshire, 03101. Care of The Morning Show.
It's a miracle on Elm Street.
You're listening to WMNH-LP, Manchester's Radio. Broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us at WMNH953@gmail.com or on our website, WMNHradio.org.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Boots
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It is that time again, or as they say in Canada, that time again. Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2022. So welcome, everybody. So nice to have you here with me today on the program. And if you would like to be with us on the program, you can call the studio line, 603-250-6007. It's like Bill Clinton, it depends on the meaning of the word on. That's a callback to, and never mind, it was a long time ago. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me while you still can. Remember, Twitter could go away any day now, any hour, any moment. So if you've ever thought about tweeting me, do it now, do it today. At Matt Connerton. You can also email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do, Gonzo knows, in the chat room, the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. And we will say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat in a moment. But want to remind you, tomorrow is the big day. And by the way, I opened today's show with the band Scalawag because they're going to be playing tomorrow at the Miracle on Elm Street event at Bonfire, just like they did last year. Great guys. I really like that band a lot. That track was called, oh, you know what? Oh, I wanted to make sure I got the title right. When They Were Kings, I think that's what it was. Great song. They've got a couple of albums worth of music and really great stuff, but and great live. They also played a cancer benefit that Jenny put on a number of years ago. So really good guys. But they're going to be making a return appearance at the Miracle on Elm Street tomorrow night. So here's what's happening. Of course, and we've been talking about it, but alas, the day is almost upon us. This is a toy drive for Manchester's kids through the Manchester Housing and Redevelopment Authority. And there's a few different ways that you can contribute to this great cause. Of course, you can drop toys off right here at 1045 Elm Street. Peter White is going to be doing tomorrow. So he'll be here a good chunk of the day if you want to come in with toys right here at the station at 1045 Elm Street on the third floor. He's going to be, he'll do the morning show. And then I think he said he's taking a break from 9 to 10 and then is going to come back for several hours. So it'll be like a morning show extended remix tomorrow. And so he's going to be on the air for quite a bit. So yeah, so you can always bring toys here tomorrow. And then of course he's going to head down for 4 o'clock. I'll be going live as usual from here, and he'll be down there at Bonfire. That's when the party starts, the official annual Christmas party, 4 p.m. at Bonfire. So, and I'm kind of keeping my show sort of open that day too, as far as I'm not booking any official guests or anything, so that if Peter or anyone else wants to call in from Bonfire while I'm on the air from 4 to 6 and let us know how it's going and talk up the event and try to get more folks there. That'll be a good thing. So yeah, so tomorrow's the big day, but so you'll be able to, obviously, while Peter's here, you can drop toys off during the day. You can also, if you'd like to make a monetary donation, you can send a check made out to Hope NH Inc. to WMNH 1045 Elm Street, number 300, care of The Morning Show, right here in Manchester. Or just do what a lot of people do. A lot of people did last year. It was amazing to be there and see this. Just bring toys right to Bonfire tomorrow during the Christmas party, which, as I said, begins at 4 p.m. The top donor will win the prize of sitting in on an episode of The Morning Show with Peter White. And you can contact Matt Cushane at mattc@hopenh.org for more info on ways you can help. And obviously, if you've been thinking about doing that, I would hurry up and do that because, like I said, tomorrow's the big day. So we are there. But yes, the third annual Miracle on Elm Street. And I know it's going to go great because last couple of years, it was phenomenal. The first year, All the toys were being kept here right at the station, and it was just amazing to walk in here every day and just see all the toys everywhere, and the way that people really stepped up in the community to help Manchester's kids. It kind of restores your faith in humanity a little bit, you know what I mean? So it was wonderful to see. And then last year, seeing all the toys at the bonfire, just amazing. So so I know that this year is going to be even bigger and better. So the Miracle on Elm Street tomorrow is the big day. So hopefully I remembered everything. And I'll play another song later at the break when we take our break at the top of the hour. I'm going to play another Scalawag song that I picked out today. And again, we're featuring the music of Scalawag today on the show because they're going to be performing tomorrow at Bonfire for the Miracle on Elm Street event. So very good, very good. Today, by the way, is a big day because right now, as we speak, voting is ongoing in the state of Georgia, the Peach State. And in fact, that's where, you remember the band Presidents of the United States of America? They had that song Peaches. That's about, they're from Georgia, so that's how they came up with the idea for that song. You know, millions of peaches, peaches for me. I completely made that up, by the way. I have no idea if they're from Georgia, but I thought it would be a fun little anecdote. I'm like Matt Pinfield when he was on MTV 120 Minutes. Remember that show on Sunday nights back in the day, way back in the day? That's right. Except he actually is a journalist and would give you actual facts. I just make things up. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. And in all the years I've been doing this show, I've never acknowledged this before. But now that we're in the holiday season, I feel like coming clean on something. About 78% of what I say on the show is just completely made up. You would be wise not to believe anything I tell you. But here's the quandary. Here's the conundrum. How do you know that I didn't make that up, what I just said? It could be 84% of the things I say I make up. You just don't know. You just don't know. Sometimes I zig when you think I'm going to zag. I like to keep everyone on their toes, as they say. But yeah, right now in Georgia, it is, of course, the incumbent Democratic Senator and pastor Raphael Warnock versus retired football player and werewolf enthusiast Herschel Walker. And my prediction is that, and I don't think maybe we'll know tonight. Will we know tonight? Is Georgia one of those states that they can get things counted quickly? I don't know. I suspect we're not going to know until tomorrow. My prediction is that Raphael Warnock will win, but I think it will be tight. I know that, and I think I mentioned this on the show yesterday too, Democrats are being very cautiously optimistic about Raphael Warnock's chances because they saw a lot of early voting, which tends to favor Democrats. Democrats are more apt than Republicans to vote early, whereas Republicans are more apt to vote on Election Day. But just because there was a lot of early voting, that doesn't mean that there won't be a large turnout that there is not happening right now. A large turnout for Raphael Warnock as we speak. I'm sorry, for Herschel Walker, rather, as we speak. So, and there might be a large turnout, Dave, for Raphael Warnock as well. We don't know. But from what I understand, and I hope I have this right, I'm not great at math, as we've all learned together the hard way in some instances over the course of my years of doing this program. But I believe what I read is that in order for Herschel Walker to pull off a victory, a minimum of 60% of the vote today has to come in for Herschel Walker. If the vote for him today is below 60%, this is when you factor in all the mail-in ballots, it's estimated that he loses. So we'll see. Again, maybe we'll know tonight. Obviously, we won't know before the show is over. We won't know by 6 p.m., but we might know late this evening. But I have a feeling it'll be late this evening or early tomorrow. That's my prediction. So I think I think Raphael Warnock is going to hold on in Georgia. I think Herschel Walker has some disadvantages. For one thing, when he speaks in public, that hurts him quite a bit, to be frank about it. But also, too, I was talking yesterday on the show about, I forget his name now, the lieutenant governor in Georgia. He goes to vote. He said this publicly to the media. He goes to vote This is the Republican governor. The Republican lieutenant governor of Georgia waits in line. I think he said for an hour. Very long lines just to do the early voting. And he gets in there and he ultimately decides that, he's staring at the ballot and he realizes he cannot, in good conscience, vote for either of those people. Now, he never actually said, by the way, I went back and re-listened and reread what he said. He never actually said he didn't vote. So he may have written somebody in. So I don't know that he necessarily didn't vote at all, because at first, hearing him tell the story, I thought that he was saying that he just didn't vote. He stared at the ballot and said, the heck with it, I'm just not going to vote. But he may have written somebody in, because he never actually said he didn't vote, or unless there's a follow-up to this that I haven't seen. But he did say that he couldn't vote for either Herschel Walker or Raphael Warnock, and he said that he felt that Herschel Walker was the worst possible candidate that the Republicans could have nominated, or something to that effect. And I just remember being stunned. And I was saying yesterday, Jenny was here, and I said to her, I respect that he spoke his conscience. He's, speaking his truth. But if I were a Republican, especially if I were a Republican in the state of Georgia and I were a Herschel Walker supporter, I would be furious with this guy. Because, again, taking whatever my views on the matter are, or this election, and just offering a dispassionate and objective, to the extent that that's possible, political analysis, strictly a political analysis of it, I would call that political malpractice for the Republican lieutenant governor to come out and say, yeah, I couldn't vote for the guy. Now, I don't know how much that resonates with the voters in Georgia, but it's not exactly a vote of confidence, pun fully intended, for the candidate that the party chose to nominate in Georgia. So I was pretty stunned by that. I guess Brian Kemp, the governor, the actual governor, not lieutenant governor in Georgia, finally sort of got on board and is trying to help Herschel Walker get across to the finish line. But he hasn't done that much. And like I said, I think his last name is Duncan, the lieutenant governor there, just, wow. I mean, he just shoved Herschel Walker in front of a train. I know everyone says he threw him under the bus, but I want to kind of modify that expression a little bit, make it more exciting. Threw him in front of a train, a moving train, an Amtrak. And, I'm sure Atlanta has an extensive subway system. And I was thinking about, when have I ever seen anything like that, where you have a nominee for a Senate seat or any major public office, and you have someone from that person's own party just try to kneecap them during the election while the early voting has already started. And I was trying to think of, when have I ever seen that before? I mean, I can think of a few instances that might be somewhat like that, not directly analogous necessarily, but a couple of things that came to mind. One was back in the 90s. I forget what year it was, if it was 94 or 96, but in the state of Louisiana, you had the nominee for the Republicans in Louisiana for governor was David Duke. And David Duke, obviously, I know Trump has at times had trouble remembering who David Duke is, but David Duke, of course, a former Grand Wizard of the KKK. And he actually won the Republican nomination. And I do remember there were some Republicans nationally saying, yeah, what's happening in Louisiana is not good. Please vote for the other guy. We might not agree with the other guy. And I can't remember who the Democrats, what the Democrats' name was. I do remember, though, the Democrat, the incumbent governor at that time in Louisiana, had some pretty serious ethics charges against him. In fact, I think there were actually people driving around. I remember this now. It's coming back to me. There were actually people driving around in Louisiana with bumper stickers that said, "Please vote for the crook." Because they were trying to make sure that David Duke did not get elected. And so it was sort of a way of expressing the desperation in making sure that David Duke doesn't get elected. Vote for the crook. So of course there were obviously in that instance there were national Republicans speaking out about what was going on in Louisiana and saying we can't have this. The election was a little closer than I think many people would have liked, though. I mean, David Duke almost won. He was within striking distance of becoming the governor of Louisiana. But so that was a case where there were Republicans saying this is a bad candidate, and we actually would prefer that he either not win or, well, in that case, they would prefer simply that he not win. I think in the case of Georgia, Republicans generally would prefer that Herschel Walker does win. By the way, I'm not comparing in any way Herschel Walker to David Duke. I mean, for one thing, Herschel Walker obviously is African American, and you wouldn't have an African American man espousing the kind of Nazism that David Duke does. Unless the African American happens to be Kanye West. I think that's a once in a lifetime exception, probably. But I'm not comparing Herschel Walker to David Duke, just so we're all clear on that. I really shouldn't have to even explain that, but just in case. So, but when else have we seen something like that? I'm sure there are other examples. If I did some research, I'm just kind of speaking extemporaneously about it. And then I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. It's a busy chat room today, but I do remember too. Now, this is a different situation, but in 2016, of course, you had Trump versus Hillary, but you also had the Libertarian, and by the way, that's how I voted in 2016. I voted for the Libertarian candidate, Gary Johnson, and his running mate, former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld, whom I always liked. In fact, I would have preferred that they flipped the ticket. I thought Bill Weld was more qualified to be president than Gary Johnson. But I remember seeing Bill Weld on MSNBC, I think the night before the election, but he wasn't shilling for his candidacy as vice president, running with Gary Johnson, the Libertarian nominee for president. He actually was shilling for Hillary Clinton. He went on, I think it was the Rachel Maddow show. Bill Weld went on there and said, because he was so alarmed at the possibility of Trump winning the election, he said, I'm here tonight. And he was very direct about it. He said, I'm here tonight to advocate for Mrs. Clinton, for Secretary Clinton. So that was an interesting moment. That was an unusual moment. I'm sure there's other examples. Obviously too with Trump, you have the never Trumpers in the Republican Party. That's some of them. I don't know how sincere they are, but so you've got those folks, but they're sort of ubiquitous at this point. We are going to talk today, by the way, in a couple of minutes about the. I do want to talk about. We didn't get to it yesterday. I wanted to get into it yesterday a little bit, and we didn't have time. But I have kind of a unique take on this whole Trump. I almost said Trump's tweet, but it was on Truth Social. Trump's, he wants to terminate the Constitution, that whole thing. I have something to say about that might surprise some of you. No, I mean, it won't surprise you that much. I'm not going to take Trump's side on that, certainly. It's a ridiculous thing what he said, but I think the media is, well, let me just say, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what the media has been saying about it either. I have a little bit of a different, I have a different thought on that, but we'll get to that. But if you'd like to join us today on the program, 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. And I do want to say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Like I said, it's a busy chat room. We have our friend Melanie La Liberty from the great state of Vermont joins us, as well as Jason Fedderson. Hello. Scott Robinson joins us and says, good afternoon, my fellow Connor Tonights. Good afternoon, Scott. Jenny, of course, is in the chat and says, shalom, peeps. Rocky Huber joins us and says, can you call in and get into an argument with Jenny Coffey? It's good for radio. Who are you? Well, Jenny's not here. So I don't know who. Rocky says, just call in and say, what about Hunter's laptop now, and hang up? Mike from Queen City Cabinetry joins us in the Facebook live chat. Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. named, of course, for the vaunted General Sunbeam, the greatest military mind since sliced bread. But you can bring your kitchen to life at Queen City Cabinetry. You might even be able to bring General Sunbeam to life if you go in there with a Ouija board or something. Not that I'm endorsing that or condoning it. Things can go wrong, but he is, of course, buried in the cement in the basement of the Sunbeam Mall. So you might be able to roust the spirit of General Sunbeam if you do some sort of a seance. Maybe light some candles, pull out some cards. I don't know. I'm not advocating for any of that. I'm just saying, if you want to get in touch with him. But, as my father has explained to me, there's a theological problem there. You never know who you're talking to. You could be talking to a demon pretending to be General Sunbeam. And what if that demon gives you some bad military advice? Then what are you going to do, right? And you'll be thinking it was General Sunbeam talking to you the whole time. There's a lot that can go wrong there. Let's see. Easy Beat Greensboro, who I strongly suspect is from Greensboro, North Carolina, says, we say hi, hashtag Mike Pelopita. How are you from us? We say hashtag Matt and hashtag Jenny. Sad news, Kirstie Alley, the actress, passed away. Yes, that was some late breaking news yesterday after the show. Kirstie Alley, age 71, passing away from cancer. And early reports seem to indicate she didn't know she had cancer. It was kind of a surprise. It snuck up on her, as can happen. So, get your screenings and keep an eye on things. Gotta do it. I don't know any details beyond that, but yeah, I used to watch her on Cheers when I was a kid. And also, of course, as a Star Trek fan, she played Saavik, I think is how you pronounce it, in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Gonzo, I mentioned, is in the chat room. Hello. Also, DJ Steve. Stephen Light is in the chat. Hello. Easy Beat Greensboro says, we say hashtag Matt Connerton and hashtag Jenny. Kirstie Alley did TV show Cheers. Look who's talking. Look who's talking too. And look who's talking now with John Travolta, we said. Yes. Boy, Easy Beat Greensboro is like an IMDb right in our chat room. That's fantastic. We say rest in peace to Kirstie Alley. Infinity Vein joins us in the chat room. I had the honor and privilege of interviewing the band Infinity Vein. Our friend Billy Painter hooked that up. That was last week. Infinity Vein says, stopping in to say hello. Hello. Well, hello to you, Infinity Vein. Easy Beat Greensboro says, we say hashtag Matt Connerton. We are a singing group, man band pop. I suspected you might be. And Easy Beat Greensboro doing some networking with other musicians in the Facebook live chat. Hello there, Infinity Vein. We say to you from us. And Infinity Vein says, why, hello there, Easy Beat Greensboro. Good to see you guys. Throw in some hashtags, Infinity Vein, and you'll really win them over. Rocky Huber says, where's John Hopwood? Yeah, I haven't seen John recently. I don't think he popped in at all last week, and I haven't seen him yet this week, but the week is young. Rocky says, usually when he's gone this long, he comes back with an alien abduction story. The last time he mentioned something about a 3-foot probe. Oh my goodness. Wow, that sounds highly unpleasant. Our friend Crystal from the great state of Illinois joins us and says, hello, everyone. Hello, Crystal. Let's see. Alex Whiteley, our friend from the UK, joins us, says, been here since the beginning of the show, was putting out a few fires at work while listening. Oh my goodness. Scott Robinson says Gary Johnson had a huge choke that year. Oh, his Aleppo moment on MSNBC. Is that what you're thinking of, Scott? That party could have made a huge dent in the two-party system if he wasn't such a dope. Yeah, and I should clarify something. So I did vote for Gary Johnson, both in 2012 and in 2016. I don't necessarily say that with tremendous pride. I have a history of, I'm an independent. I don't like to be a member of either of the two major parties, and I like to vote for and support independents whenever I can. I try to throw as many, I'm just one guy, so they're not even rocks. They're little pebbles. But I try to throw as many pebbles as I accidentally throw my pen. I try to throw as many pebbles at the two-party system as I possibly can. So I did vote for Gary Johnson. I would have preferred Bill Weld at the top. But yeah, Gary Johnson had a couple of rough moments. And you're right, Scott. In 2016, the disapproval ratings for both Hillary and Trump, there was a lot of dissatisfaction with both of them as candidates. And that was probably the best opportunity that the Libertarians or any third party had in a long time, at least since 1992 when Ross Perot ran, not as a Libertarian, as an independent, or I think he had something called the Reform Party. If that had started yet. Had that started yet in 92, he might have been a strict independent. But the point being, that was a unique opportunity for Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. But yeah, Gary Johnson did show some degree of buffoonery. Also, he didn't get a lot of support, I think, from his own party, the Libertarian Party, because, these guys were not exactly libertarians in the sense that most libertarians would consider a libertarian. And obviously libertarians, just like Democrats and Republicans, it's not monolithic, right? There are many different kinds of libertarians, but I remember it was Mark Edge on Free Talk Live. I remember pointing out, he said about Gary Johnson, he said, look, being a moderate Republican does not make you a libertarian. Okay. So they were sort of actively working against him. And that's a pretty, or at least it was at that point, a pretty influential show among libertarians. It probably still is. That's a nationally syndicated show, Free Talk Live. So, but MSNBC went out of their way in 2016 because they recognized the situation and the uniqueness of the opportunity that libertarians had and independents generally, because not only obviously their coverage focused on Trump and Hillary primarily, but secondarily, they did give both the Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson and the Green Party candidate Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein, a lot of opportunities to get exposure and be interviewed on MSNBC. They went out of their way to give those people a voice too. But as you pointed out, Scott, Gary Johnson did not acquit himself well. And the Aleppo moment, when he was being asked by Mike Barnicle I think it was on Morning Joe. It was on MSNBC in the morning. It must have been Morning Joe. Mike Barnicle asked Gary Johnson, what would you do about Aleppo, Syria? And because we were still, at that point, very much involved on the ground in what was going on in Syria. And Aleppo was crumbling. I think Aleppo is the capital of Syria. I'm not positive, but it's a city there, an important city. And Gary Johnson looks at Mike Barnicle and says, what is Aleppo? And everybody just kind of sat there stunned. Now, a Gary Johnson apologist might say, well, his whole thing was sort of this anti-war, almost a neo-isolationism, which I was sort of on board with at the time. In hindsight, I am not. I've changed and evolved over the years on that. But so Gary Johnson's coming at it from the perspective of almost like, he didn't say this, but he sort of implied it, that he didn't need to know what Aleppo is because he doesn't think we should be there to begin with. On that, we agreed. I didn't think we should be there to begin with. And that I stand by. So I agreed with him in principle, but at the same time, whether you agree, if you want to be president of the United States, whether you agree or disagree with the foreign policy that we've had up to that point, you got to know something about it, dude. You got to know what you're talking about. It was a bad moment. It was rough. Yeah, that was embarrassing. Easy Beat Greensboro says, we are from Greensboro, North Carolina. I thought so. Rocky says, actually, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry will be unveiling the new Sunbeam collection of cabinets soon. Oh, very exciting. Crystal points out demons aren't known for being truthful. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem when you're dealing with demons. They don't tell you the truth. Tom Blanchard joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hi, Tom. Is this breaking news? Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says jury finds Trump organization guilty of tax fraud on all counts. Yeah. That's, what's his name? Alan Weisselberg. He's the one taking the fall for that, right? If I'm not mistaken. And it's, when a business is found guilty, when a corporation is found guilty, it's not a person. Although, Mitt Romney will tell you, that corporations are people, which legally he took a lot of crap for that, but legally, our friend Mittens from Utah, as I like to call him, he was correct. A corporation is in many ways treated like a person by the law, but you can't send a corporation to prison, so they just get fined. But 12 minutes ago. Yeah, we'll probably look at that today. We'll look at that more closely. I'm almost numb to a lot of it, a lot of the Trump stuff. It's just so much. How does he even have time to run for president? Alex Wiley says, I listened to the whole Kanye interview with Alex Jones last night. It was horrific. Yeah, it was fascinating, though. Now, I haven't seen or listened to the whole thing. Most of what I saw was clips of other of podcasters playing some of it and commenting on it. But the dynamics of it were fascinating to me because I'd never seen Alex Jones in a position where he is the sane person in the room. He's the reasonable one. And he kept trying to throw Kanye these lifelines. Like, he kept trying to give Kanye a way out. You know what I mean? Like, Kanye's talking about how much he loves Hitler and how much he loves Nazis. And Alex Jones is like, well, you don't literally love Nazis. I mean, that's obvious to everybody. You just like the uniforms because you're a fashion designer and, things like that. And at one point, Kanye is talking about his love of Hitler, and Alex Jones just starts laughing uncomfortably, trying to make it look like Kanye was obviously kidding when he's not kidding. And everyone can see that he's not kidding. And Alex Jones, I'd never seen Alex Jones looking legitimately uncomfortable, or maybe he even felt a little bit cucked, to use a term that I hear conservative media people using. Because somebody in the room was out crazying Alex Jones. And I think it was Rocky Huber in the chat room yesterday who said something about it's a sad day when Alex Jones is the I forget, Rocky, now how you put it. I think it was you who said it. It's a sad day when Alex Jones is the most reasonable in the room, or the most moral and ethical in the room, or something like that. Yeah, it's wild. And since then, now there's this whole other thing about Milo Yiannopoulos has now left the Kanye West campaign, and there's this whole feud over that. And so Milo is out, but I think Nick Fuentes is still in. I was trying to look up what Candace Owens has been saying. That's how I found the Milo stuff. I was looking up. I wanted to see if Candace Owens has continued to defend Kanye. Ben Shapiro gave up. He said, I can't defend this guy anymore. He's a POS and I'm done with him. But Candace Owens, I don't think has said anything yet critical about Kanye, which makes me wonder, is there something Kanye can say that is so horrific that even Candace Owens, his bestie, will abandon him? I'm sure Ben Shapiro would like that to happen. They work together at the Daily Wire, I believe. And I'm sure she would like to see Candace get off the Kanye train. But I think she's kind of being quiet right now. But that whole deal, I did read that the whole deal is off, where Kanye West was supposed to buy Parler. And Parler is owned by, and I forget his name, Parler is owned by the husband of Candace Owens. And I think, and we did talk about it on the show, I think that's the whole reason why she was trying to get so cozy with, they've been friends a long time. You can go back 5 or 6 years and, for example, and see the interview of, not really an interview, it's kind of a mess, but when Kanye West is at the offices of TMZ and Candace Owens is there with him. And so their friendship goes back a number of years. But they were trying to get Kanye West to buy Parler because Parler is failing and has been. And Elon Musk already bought a social media company to destroy even further. So maybe get Kanye West to buy Parler. And it has been, and there was a public statement released by the company that owns Parler, which again is run by the guy who's married to Candace Owens, saying that there will be no sale and that Kanye West has decided not to buy Parler. And the way the statement is written, though, it basically says that Parler is still actively looking for someone to buy the company. So they're trying to sell it off, but Kanye West is no longer interested, which makes me wonder, is that the reason? Because the deal fell apart? Is that because it looked like Kanye West was going to buy it at one point? Is that why Kanye West is, I'm sorry, is that why Candace Owens is no longer publicly defending Kanye West? Is she kind of cold to the whole thing now? She still hasn't spoken out against him. And her silence is deafening. That's why I see some of the progressive podcasters on YouTube and other places. They actually refer to her as Clandis Owens for being so buddy with Kanye West. But now she's being quiet, and I wonder if it's because he backed out of the deal to buy Parler, and she's mad. She's not going to say anything against him because I guess going on Alex Jones and talking about how, and he literally says that he loves Hitler. I guess that's not enough to get her to say anything bad about him in public, but she doesn't seem to be going out of her way to defend him anymore either. But I wonder if Parler has anything to do with it because, I mean, look, it's all a business to these people, right? I don't believe that she cares or that Milo Yiannopoulos cares or Alex Jones cares about half the things they say that they do. It's all a business to them. It's all a giant grift. That's all it is. Hello to our friend Chris Rose from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the Facebook live chat. Crystal from Illinois says corporations hire expensive accountants, etc., who will probably take the fall versus Trump. They are the ones who know the tax legalities, loopholes, and how to get around them. True. Rocky Huber said, I said I never thought I'd see the day when Alex Jones was the least evil person in a room of 4 people. Thank you, Rocky. Yes, that's what it was. Yes, I like that. I like that. Yeah, same. When Alex Jones is the least evil person in a room of 4 people, you know that we're in a very strange timeline. It's a very strange, if there is, there's the multiverse theory, right? The theory that there are multiple universes. There's not one universe. There's multiple universes all going on simultaneously. And we're just in one of them. We're in one of the stranger ones. We have to be, right? We have to be in some sort of alternate universe when Alex Jones is the least evil person in a room of 4 people. So that's an excellent insight, Rocky. 603-250-6007 is the number if you'd like to join us. 603-250-6007. I wanted to say something. I won't spend a lot of time on this specifically, but I wanted to say something about Trump's recent call on, speaking of social media, on Truth Social to terminate the Constitution. I'm going to say something here that's going to surprise some of you probably, but I am not, well, let me put it this way. I have kind of a unique perspective, and that's part of why I wanted to, or an opinion. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I try to do things on this show that aren't like what you get everywhere else. So if I have a thought or a feeling about something that I don't think is in line with what the entire rest of the media is saying, and of course the media is not monolithic. You've got conservative media, you've got liberal media, you've got this and that and the other. You've got all different kinds of media. But what I'm seeing is, of course, more liberal media, like say, for example, MSNBC. They've been hyperventilating over Trump's Truth Social, the ironically named Truth Social, his post about the Constitution, and some Republicans, mostly never Trumpers, are also on board with the criticism, and this is a bridge too far, and this is terrible, and all of that. And of course, conservative media, unless I've missed something, and it's entirely possible that I have, but I think conservative media is trying to ignore it. They don't know how to justify it. They don't know how to condone it. They don't know how to spin it, so they just ignore it. I'm sure they're not talking about it. I'm sure Fox and Friends did not open the show Monday morning talking about Trump's post on Truth Social about the Constitution. Now, obviously, I'm not going to defend what Trump said. To be clear, that's not where I'm going with this. When I say I have a unique opinion, it's not that I think what Trump said is okay or that I'm willing to defend it in any way. Of course not. Trump's comments about what exactly I need to pull up exactly what he wrote. But Trump's comments in his Truth Social post ultimately could really just be summed up as, wah, I lost and I still can't accept it, wah, right? I mean, that's really what it is. But that's part of why, and this is what I'm getting to, where I'm in a little bit of a different place with this than seemingly everyone else in media who is, and again, conservative media, I think, is ignoring it because they don't know what to do with it. But liberal media is very, very upset and saying this should be the final nail in the coffin of Trump and all of that. Honestly, when I saw this, my reaction to it, to be completely real with everybody, believe it or not, my reaction to it was kind of a shrug. And I say believe it or not because you probably all expected, I'm not a fan of the guy. I spent 4 years of his presidency coming in here and criticizing him every day, and I've continued to do so post-presidency. So, you probably would expect me to join the chorus of people that are just apoplectic over this. But my reaction was kind of a shrug, and I'll tell you why. To me, it's just him saying what we already knew he thought. I don't see anything in what he said that is not consistent with all the things he's already said. I mean, this is the guy who provoked a mob of insurrectionists to storm the Capitol by telling them for months and months and months leading up to the election that if he loses, it's rigged. And then when he lost, it was rigged. And they stole it from me, and they stole it from all of us, and and everything. We all know. We don't have to go through the whole thing. Everyone knows, right? Everything knows everything that. And personally, I blame Trump for it. I believe Trump is responsible, and others. Not only Trump, but many others. But in light of that, in light of everything else, and by the way, today, and I'm sure we'll get to it in the second hour. We'll talk a little bit too about today with the ceremony where they awarded medals to Capitol police officers, which I think is well deserved. And although there's an interesting wrinkle to it that we'll get to too, but just like, I don't know, I saw what he posted and I just kind of thought, yeah, well, of course he thinks that. Of course he's going to say that. You know what I mean? I hope this makes sense to everybody what I'm saying. I'm not saying that what he said was okay. Of course not. Of course not. Again, it's more whining about losing the election and not being able to accept it. The man has announced his candidacy for 2024. He is an active presidential candidate, and I like to call him the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. He's not the presumptive nominee. We haven't even had the primaries, but he's the presumptive nominee. In other words, he's going to be the nominee. I'm almost positive. So here's an active presidential candidate for 2024, still obsessing over the 2020 election. But of course he is. That's his brand. That's what he does. You look at that post, has he not already said variations of that previously? I mean, did he not attempt to get around the Constitution, trying to find a way to overturn the 2020 election, putting pressure on his vice president, Mike Pence, to do some hocus pocus and refuse to certify certain states and therefore refuse to certify the election so Trump could stay as president? Did he not? I mean, so in light of all of that, to me, him making a comment about on his Truth Social, well, I think that I think that, we should suspend parts of the Constitution. Well, it's, I didn't really get upset about it. I just was kind of like, okay, this is just more blitherings of a desperate man who still cannot accept that he lost. It's just more of that. So I guess in that context, I was kind of like, to me, it didn't seem like that big of a deal. Again, not in any way justifying or rationalizing it. It's not something a former president or potential future president or anybody running for any level of office anywhere should ever say. You don't talk about suspending parts of the Constitution of the United States because you didn't get your way and you're, a 76-year-old man baby who will never be able to accept that you didn't get your way. And this is your pacifier going on your crappy social media site and complaining about it and finding new angles. I'm not justifying any of that. I mean, but to me, it's, people got so angry. People are so angry with Trump for saying this. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not angry at him for saying it. To me, it's just sad and pathetic. I like, it's not even worth, to me, it's not even worth getting angry over. I just look at it and it's like, what a sad man. What a sad, pathetic man that he's going on social media and talking about how this great injustice was done to him with the 2020 election and that we have no choice but to suspend the Constitution, or however he put it. How he put it, by the way, didn't even quite make sense to me. That's why I want to pull up exactly what he wrote, because it's not like he just said, I'm calling for the suspension of the Constitution. But there's all this reporting, like NBC News has, Republicans react to Trump's call to terminate the Constitution. I don't think he said terminate the Constitution, but I think he said something to the effect of suspend the parts of the Constitution that affect who the president of the United States is, if the president of the United States ends up being somebody other than him. I'm looking for... And by the way, I mean, it's good to see some Republicans speaking out against this. It is worth speaking out against. I'm just a little bit, I think though the media is overplaying it a little bit, because again, it's just him blithering his nonsense. At the end of the day, that's all it really is. I want to find the exact verbiage, though, because I wanted to look at it again. Trump denies he suggested termination of Constitution. Yeah, he's now denying that he said it at all. Let's see. This is from Politico. He posted yesterday, the fake news is actually trying to convince the American people that I said I wanted to terminate the Constitution. This is simply more disinformation and lies. The post seemed to be a complete denial of his post from Saturday, which remained online as of Monday afternoon. Okay, so here was the actual post. Here's what he said. A massive fraud. By the way, Trump is one of these people, too, who he will, in a sentence, he did this when he was on Twitter, too. In a sentence, he'll randomly capitalize words that there's no reason to capitalize. That always annoys me when people do that. Here's what he posted. His exact words. A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, unquote. I got to be honest with you. I don't really know what he's going for there. Is he saying the Constitution itself needs to be terminated? I don't think so. I think he's saying parts of the Constitution need to be terminated. Again, the parts where his vice president wasn't able to just magically make him president again for another term, right? But I don't know. I feel like the media is overreacting to it a little bit. Again, it's a stupid thing to say, but to me, it's nothing to get angry about. It's just the blitherings of a sad, pathetic old man who cannot accept that he's not president anymore. That's all it is. Like it's sad. It's just sad. So I don't know. I see people on MSNBC hyperventilating over this, and I'm like, to me it seems very on brand. You know, he's playing the victim card, he's playing the martyr card, he's taking it up a notch by mentioning the Constitution, but at the end of the day, is it really that consequential? Now, looking down the road, it may become consequential in the long run if, in fact, he is reelected to the presidency, because I do believe he's going to be the nominee. And once he's the nominee, yeah, of course, there's a shot. He could win the presidency. And I mean, we may very well be getting, God help us, a rematch of Trump versus Biden in 2024. That's probably what is in store for us all. But it's just the ramblings of a guy who cannot accept reality. It's sad. That's all it is to me. It's just sad. And by the way, too, it's also just content for his audience, right? He's just saying this because if you're on Truth Social, unless you're on there just to see what's going on, if you're an active participant on Truth Social, you're probably just there because you want to live in that echo chamber where you and everyone else tells each other you're right about everything, and you go there to, you know, it's like church in a way. It's like a virtual church online where, you know, you and everyone you know can go there and worship at the altar of your Messiah, Donald Trump. I mean, that's really what it is, right? So that's the audience that this is for. You know, so you can go on Truth Social and be like, yeah, that's right. We're gonna suspend parts of the Constitution, except it's too late. It's already 2022 and the election was in 2020. Probably too late to do that now. Plus, we tried to stage a coup and an insurrection, and it didn't really work out for us. But yeah, he's right. That's what we should have done. You know, declare martial law, suspend the Constitution, whatever. It's just the blitherings of a pathetic man. That's all it is. So again, I'm not condoning any of it. I'm just saying of everything that he's presented to us, is this really worth the attention that it's getting, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm certainly critical of Trump. What he said was wrong, but I'm also critiquing the media a little bit. I think there's more interesting, as Mike Pelopita just brought up to us, and we'll look at that in the second hour as well. I think there's more interesting things swirling, and I use that term very intently. There's more interesting things swirling around Trump at the moment than this dumb, unhinged comment that he made on his ironically named social media platform. Easy Beat Greensboro says, Trump by Trump, we say to you, hashtag Matt Connarton, we need a new president. That's almost as clear and coherent as what Trump said on Truth Social. Let's see. Alex Whiteley says in the chat, what is really annoying me at the moment is that monsters like Trump, Kanye, Jones, Musk, and Piers Morgan make so much noise. No one is talking about the positive role models out there. We need more of that. I miss optimism. Yeah, agreed, Alex. We can always use more of that and more optimism. I agree with you. Yeah, these people do kind of, these guys do kind of suck all the oxygen out of the room, don't they? Although Piers Morgan did something recently that I liked. I can't remember what it was now, though. Probably these other guys made me forget with all of their nonsense, but there was something Piers Morgan did or said recently, or an interview that he did, that I appreciated. I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. Crystal says in the chat, it's all about money. Controversy brings in money. Good deeds and positivity don't bring in the same level of viewership. I think that's true. I think that's true. Scott Robinson says, it's him being a moron, testing the cult. Referring to Trump, of course. Scott Robinson says, I think I'd rather have Trump versus Hillary. Yeah, I don't think Hillary's running again. But she does seem a lot more spry than our current president, doesn't she? Alex Whiteley says, this is why everything I do with the Shrewsbury Biscuit, which is a show that Alex does, a podcast, tends to be positive to give people a break from the from the dour and depressive media. Yeah. Easy Beat Greensboro says, we say Trump is not a good president. Duh, hashtag Matt and hashtag Jenny. But we say money, money. We say whoa. That's a fascinating insight. I say to you, hashtag Easy Beat Greensboro. Okay. Well, we are past the top of the hour. Let's play another track. Oh, let me just see. What did Crystal say? Piers Morgan is petty when it comes to Meghan Markle. She rejected him and he's been retaliatory and mean since. He's not impartial when it comes to her. Yeah, I remember that. I know what you're referring to. There was something else though he did recently or said that I liked, but it must not have been that great because I can't seem to remember what it was. So whatever it was, it didn't leave that great an impression on me, apparently. So we are at the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. I'm going to play another Scalawag song. Today on the program, we are featuring the music of Scalawag because Scalawag is playing tomorrow at the Miracle on Elm Street event, the annual Christmas party at Bonfire. They played last year to great acclaim, and they are returning this year. And they have a song that I like. I mean, they got a bunch of songs that I like, but this one stood out to me. This is called Elephant on a Seesaw. It's from their album Wheel on Steel. I really like this one a lot. So let's give this a listen, and then we're going to show some love to our amazing sponsors, and then we'll be back with hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connerton Unleashed. Don't go away. There is plenty more to come.
Down, cage up the freaks, show is leaving town, last call for candy, the vendors wrap it up, help wanted posted, the geek has had enough. Sting from the townie's kiss. She'd surely stay here if a rich man he was. Knows only a trade, so it's back on the bus. Rounds before Lion's feast, wheeled by the crippled child beast, lying tame beside him in a cart of his own. Lines up his sides and he heads for home.
This is the regulator-approved.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Hey, Maddie, are you excited for the holidays?
I am, Peter, but I hope that Santa makes it to every kid's house in Manchester this year.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I know how you can help, though.
Wow, Peter. Tell me more.
Well, I know the people of Manchester will band together to help our kids. It's going to be a miracle on Elm Street.
Peter, I believe in the people of Manchester, too. What do we need to do?
Well, call the morning show any weekday from 7 to 9, and you can donate. The number is 603-250-6007.
Or you could send a check made out to Hope NH Inc. and send it to 1045 Elm Street, Suite 300, Manchester, New Hampshire, 03101. Care of The Morning Show.
It's a miracle on Elm Street.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
It's a great song, but I don't know it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back as we are well in hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connerton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious, glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners. I don't know why I stumble on that word all of a sudden. Listeners. It's like I added an extra syllable. Listeners. Maybe I'm having what do they call it? A TIA, like a mini stroke? I hope not. My goodness. That'd be good for ratings, though. If anything like that ever happens to me live on the air, I hope it's during Sweeps Week. Anyway, hello to all of our online listeners from across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Welcome, everybody. 603-250-6007 is the number if you'd like to join us live on the program today. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me, while you still can, at Matt Connerton. Send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. And don't forget, tomorrow is the big day, the Miracle on Elm Street right here in Manchester. Very excited, of course. This is it is a toy drive for the children of Manchester through the Manchester Housing and Redevelopment Authority. And there is still time if you want to participate, if you want to donate some, you can donate toys or a monetary donation is possible as well. Toys can be dropped off right here at WMNH. We are at 1045 Elm Street on the 3rd floor. If you do so during the morning show, and by the way, tomorrow, Peter's doing an extended version of the morning show. He'll be on 7 to 9, and then I think taking a break from 9 to 10, and then back on the air from 10 until whenever I come in, I guess, probably. Peter said I can come in a little bit early if I want, because Peter will have to head down, of course, to the bonfire for the official annual Christmas party for the Miracle. Beginning at 4 p.m. So Peter will be on, of course, in the morning and then well into the afternoon. So you can drop toys off right here, of course, again, we're at 1045 Elm Street, 3rd floor. You can send a check or drop off a check for that matter if you'd prefer a monetary donation. And you can make it out to Hope NH Inc., if you want to just drop it in the mail, hopefully if your local mail moves quickly locally, you can send it to WMNH 1045 Elm Street, number 300, care of The Morning Show, Manchester, New Hampshire 03101. So you can do that, or you can just show up at the Christmas party at the bonfire. Again, it starts at 4 p.m. Bring whatever toys you're donating, if you're bringing a check, if you're bringing some gift cards, whatever it is, or you just want to show up and hang out and support the cause. But we want, obviously, as many toys donated as possible. That's the main thing. So you can bring them right to Bonfire, which is what a lot of people did last year. So we're expecting a lot. Of course, it is the 3rd annual Miracle on Elm Street, and the first 2 were a rousing success, and I think this one's going to be even bigger. The top donor, by the way, if you're donating things for the raffle, the top donor gets to sit in on an episode of the morning show. I'm sorry, the donor for, I keep getting that mixed up, the top donor of if you're doing a monetary donation, you get to sit in on an episode of the morning show. But there will be a raffle and prizes in the raffle. I keep forgetting those are two separate things. The raffle has some great things in it. Tim Baines, our friend from Elm House of Pizza, dropped off a bunch of gift cards. In fact, I'm looking at them right now. These are just some of the things. I'm just going to tell you a few of the things so you know. Jenny donated not one, but two this year of her beautiful paintings, which are right here in the studio. In fact, I'm looking right at those now. And also, our sponsor, the Hop Knot, over the weekend donated a $25 gift certificate. You know the Hop Knot. They've got those delicious gourmet pretzels and the craft beer. And don't go there today. Monday and Tuesday is their weekend. You know the drill. But we love the Hop Knot, so they donated as well. Those are just a few of the things that have been donated for the raffle. So there's a lot going on. But the most important thing is, you know, please donate some toys for these kids. And let's, like I said, first year and second year were amazing. But let's crush those and really, really blow it out this year with this, the third annual Miracle on Elm Street. Very exciting. So that will all be happening tomorrow. And by the way, the track that I played at the break is called Elephant on a Seesaw, and the band is Scalawag. And the reason we're featuring music from Scalawag today on the show is they will be playing for the second year in a row. They're going to be playing at Bonfire at the Miracle on Elm Street event. They performed last year, and they are back this year. They're really good guys, very talented musicians, obviously, but also very good guys. They played a cancer benefit that Jenny put on a few years ago, so they're really into giving back to the community, which is a wonderful thing. So there you go. We'll probably play another song of theirs at the end of the show today, and now tomorrow I'll probably play some more Scalawag too. 603-250-6007 is the number. 603-250-6007 if you'd like to get in with a call today. Let's see. Easy Beat Greensboro in the chat room says, well, hashtag Matt Connerton, we say keep up the good show. Have a wonderful afternoon. And we will be watching you tomorrow afternoon. Oh, you're leaving already, Easy Beat Greensboro. My goodness. Oh, and Easy Beat Greensboro also said the band was the name, Matt Connerton, and good afternoon, by the way. Yes. Yes. Scalawag, hashtag Scalawag, Easy Beat Greensboro. All right, let's see. Let's look at this. Our friend Mike from Queen City Cabinetry, one of our great sponsors here at WMNH, brought this up in the chat room a few minutes ago as we were going to break some breaking news. Jury, this is from Mediaite.com. Jury finds Trump org guilty on all 17 counts in tax fraud case. By the way, before anyone gets excited, no, this doesn't mean Trump is going to jail or that anyone is going to jail for that matter, but that's not quite how this works. But let's look at this. After a month-long trial and deliberating for more than a day, a jury found the Trump Organization and a subsidiary entity guilty of all 17 counts charged against them by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The charges against the family real estate empire led by former President Donald Trump included charges for tax fraud, a scheme to defraud, conspiracy, and falsifying business records, according to the New York Times, and centered around an over 15-year effort by the company to provide top executives with valuable benefits off the books and without the IRS taking its cut, including, quote, fancy apartments, leased Mercedes-Benzes, even private school tuition for relatives, unquote. Yeah. Prosecutors started sniffing around after Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, testified before Congress in 2019, alleging that the company's modus operandi, or that's Latin for mode of operation, was to artificially inflate assets when they were being used to secure loans or other valuations where it was advantageous, and to conceal or downplay assets where taxes were being assessed on them. The specific investigation leading to the trial that culminated this month was initiated by former Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance and taken over by a successor, Alvin Bragg, leading to indictments for Trump Org, its subsidiary Trump Payroll Corporation, and former Trump Org CFO Alan Weisselberg, who pled guilty in August and agreed to testify against the company. According to a press release by Bragg's office, the full list of charges included 1 count of falsifying business records in the first degree, a Class E felony, plus 16 counts against Trump Org and Trump Payroll Corp. Let's see. This is from the This is from the statement that Bragg did. Quote, "This was a case about greed and cheating. In Manhattan, no corporation is above the law. For 13 years, the Trump Corporation and the Trump Payroll Corporation got away with the scheme that awarded high-level executives with lavish perks and compensation while intentionally concealing the benefits from the taxing authorities to avoid paying taxes," unquote. Weisselberg's testimony did not, and this is an important detail, Weisselberg's testimony did not implicate Trump, and thus far, neither the former president nor his adult children who have had roles in the business have been charged. But the prosecutor's arguments repeatedly mentioned Trump as a key player in the scheme. As reported by CNN, prosecutor Joshua Steinglass told the jury in closing arguments that Trump explicitly sanctioned tax fraud and urged them to reject the defense's argument that former Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg was a rogue employee motivated by his own personal greed. Steinglass said, quote, "The whole narrative that Donald Trump is blissfully ignorant is just not true," unquote. The jury heard that Trump agreed on a whim to pay the private school tuition for his Weisselberg's grandchildren and signed a lease for a Manhattan apartment to shorten the executive's commute. Trump personally signed his employees' bonus checks at Christmas time, and he initiated a memo reducing the salary of another top executive, which prosecutors said suggested he knew all along about the fraudulent scheme. Interesting. Mediaite reports the maximum penalty Trump Org faces for these guilty verdicts is a total of $1.62 million. And again, Trump Org is not a person. So what happens when a business, when a corporation is convicted of something, it's all monetary. They pay a fine. There's no one individual. Although I think Weisselberg is in some personal jeopardy. But as far as the organization, there's no individual to put into prison. So they are levied a fine. So the max penalty is $1.62 million, which the Times characterized as a rounding error for Mr. Trump. But the impacts are likely to be beyond the mere dollars and cents, including, quote, providing early fodder for opponents and their attack ads targeting Trump's 2024 presidential ambitions, opening the door for the Manhattan DA to, quote, intensify its wider criminal investigation into Mr. Trump's business practices, unquote. And by serving as a, quote, highly public reckoning for the Trump Organization, forever branding it as a felonious enterprise, unquote, making potential business partners and lenders more reluctant to work with the company. Sentencing regarding the companies is currently scheduled for January 13, 2023, and Weisselberg's sentencing will be determined in the coming weeks. So like I said, Weisselberg is in jeopardy. So he will, he'll go to prison, I guess, for a short time. We're not, in this country, we don't really punish rich and powerful people with long-term sentences. But so that was the breaking news today. As far as how it hurts Trump politically, it doesn't. If anything, it helps him. Every bad thing, the thing that Trump has been very adept about in terms of his political career is making sure that every bad thing that happens to him helps him in some way, because he portrays himself as a martyr and he's the victim of all this unfairness and the inclusivity, right? He always frames it as, they're not just out to get me, they're out to get all of us. You who support me, they're after all of us. So it doesn't hurt him. If anything, it helps him. The more bad things that happen to him, they help him politically. But obviously it does hurt his businesses in terms of being able to do business, in terms of other businesses wanting to work with them. We'll move on from that because I do want to talk about, but by the way, thank you to Mike from Queen City Cabinetry for bringing that to our attention. Some breaking news a little bit earlier. I do want to talk about what happened today with these officers receiving the Congressional Gold Medal. I think it's a wonderful thing. But let me give the number quickly again. 603-250-6007 is the studio line if you would like to join us today. 603-250-6007. Our friend Isaac Banks, also from Greensboro, North Carolina, joins us in the chat room and says, hello, Matt. Hello, Jenny Coffee. Good afternoon. I heard that as well. Well, they all speak the same in Greensboro. It's interesting. All right, this is from CBS News. Police officers receive congressional gold medals for defending the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. I was in the car, by the way, when this was happening, but I was able to hear the comments of Kevin McCarthy spoke, and then Mitch McConnell, and then Chuck Schumer, and then finally Nancy Pelosi. And I think it's a great thing to honor these officers. They had I can't imagine any of them were expecting what happened on that terrible day. And it's just, I'll start to get angry if I dwell on it too much, but I think this is a great thing, that they did today, this recognition. I mean, it's not nearly enough, but, again, this is from CBS News. Nearly 2 years after the January 6th riot, law enforcement officers who defended the Capitol are being honored during a ceremony today. Congressional leaders are paying tribute. Oh, this is, I'm sorry, you know what? This article that I pulled up is written in the future tense, like it didn't happen yet, and it already happened. Let me find something a little more timely here. We'll go to the AP. It's interesting to see the different titles that different news outlets use. The Associated Press is going with January 6 heroes honored for defending Capitol from Trump mob. All right, this is from the Associated Press. Hailed as heroes, the law enforcement officers who defended the U.S. Capitol on Jan 6 were honored today with congressional gold medals and praised for securing democracy when they fought off a brutal and bloody attack by supporters of then-President Donald Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi opened the emotional ceremony, tensions still raw in the stately Capitol Rotunda, which was overrun that day when Trump supporters battled police, broke into the building, and stormed the halls trying to stop Congress from certifying Joe Biden's election. Pelosi said, quote, January 6th was a day of horror and heartbreak. It is also a moment of extraordinary heroism, staring down deadly violence and despicable bigotry, unquote. In bestowing Congress's highest honor, Pelosi praised the heroes for, quote, courageously answering the call to defend our democracy in one of the nation's darkest hours, unquote. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell said, quote, thank you for having our backs. Thank you for saving our country, unquote. But showing the raw political and emotional fallout from the violent insurrection and its aftermath, representatives of the family of fallen officer Brian Sicknick declined to shake hands with the Republican leaders, snubbing McConnell's outstretched palm. Sicknick's mother had personally lobbied House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy and other Republican leaders for the formation of an independent commission to investigate the Capitol attack, or when that failed, to support the House investigative panel. Both McConnell and McCarthy voted against the independent commission, and McCarthy has railed against the House panel as a partisan political exercise. Well, listen, you can't blame the family of Officer Sicknick for feeling that way. I don't blame them at all. It says here, to recognize the hundreds of officers who were at the Capitol on Jan 6, the medals will be placed in 4 locations: at U.S. Capitol Police Headquarters, the Metro Police Department, the Capitol, and the Smithsonian Institute. In signing the legislation last year, Biden said that one will be placed at the Smithsonian Museum, quote, so all visitors can understand what happened that day, unquote. Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Conti said for some officers, today was their first visit to the Capitol since that horrific day, a scene filled with the clanking sound of metal poles being wielded as weapons. The air still thick with chemical sprays as officers were assaulted by the mob of Trump supporters. Quote, many of us still carry the mental, physical, and emotional scars, unquote, Conte said of the city police officers who rushed in as the U.S. Capitol Police were overrun by the mob. He said, quote, exhausted and injured, it was your blood, your sweat, and your tears that marked these grounds, unquote. U.S. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger called it, quote, a day unlike any other in our nation's history, and for us it was a day defined by chaos, courage, and tragic loss, unquote. The ceremony at the Capitol comes as Democrats, just weeks away from losing their House majority, race to finish a nearly 18-month investigation of the insurrection. Without support from GOP leadership, Democrats led the bipartisan probe with 2 Republicans and vowed to uncover details of the attack, which came as Trump tried to overturn his election defeat and encouraged his supporters to fight like hell, quote unquote, in a rally just before the congressional certification. Awarding the medals is among Pelosi's last ceremonial acts as she prepares to step down from leadership. Pelosi told those officers, quote, your valor that day is the stuff of legend, unquote. More than 100 officers who fought off the rioters sustained serious injuries. As the mob of Trump, by the way, that's a good thing to remind people because let's be honest, there is a segment of people who are very pro-police, who go around saying things like back the blue and support your police. But again, hopefully it's a small segment, but there is a segment of the American population. They go around talking the talk. But if you bring up, say, Officer Brian Sicknick or the hundreds of officers who were injured on that day, suddenly they become indifferent. I've seen it happen. It's happened on this very show when I've talked to people about it. And they're all about backing the blue and supporting police. And I've said, I can think of a specific conversation I had with somebody where I said, well, what about Brian Sicknick? And the response I got was like, yeah, what about him? It's like, and I get what it is. And I'm not trying to speak broadly. I hope it is a very small sliver of the American population, but there are people who will talk about backing the blue and supporting police, but while they might not say it explicitly, they certainly communicate it implicitly. They don't mean necessarily all police, and they don't mean necessarily the Capitol Police. And why? Look, I've talked about it before. I have a very strong theory that people who were there that day, because there was some degree of organization to this insurrection, and yes, I do call it an insurrection, and I think that's an insurrection, by the way, is defined as a violent uprising against the government. So I know some people think that that's not the right term. No, it absolutely is, and I stand by it 100%. It was an insurrection. But I think, the Oath Keepers who were there, the Proud Boys who were there, the 3 Percenters, another one of these right-wing militia groups who were there. I think they honestly expected, this is worth pointing out because it goes to the valor of these police officers who did the right thing. And I understand there's a segment of MAGA nation that, they back the blue, but they're a little ambivalent when it comes to the Capitol Police because some of them thought, and definitely some of them who were there that day thought that when it was go time, that the Capitol Police would turn on the government and help the insurrectionists. And I'm sure that there are people who are so disappointed that that didn't happen that, again, while they won't say it explicitly, but they communicate it implicitly through their indifference to what these people, these heroes went through that day, these Capitol Police officers who fought, who defended our country, who defended our nation's capital when our nation's capital was under attack by domestic terrorists. And again, I use that phrase very intently, and I stand by that. And some people don't think that's appropriate to call them domestic terrorists. No, they are. The people who stormed the Capitol are domestic terrorists attacking our country. It was an insurrection. I stand by all of that, 100%. Anybody wants to downplay it, whitewash it, find somebody else to blame, you go ahead. I'm not going to argue with you about it, but I face the truth. But I'm sure there are people, insurrection apologists, as I like to call them, who kind of wish that the Capitol Police had said, yeah, you're right, we're going to help you, and actually would turn on the government and help these people storm the Capitol. And then when that didn't happen, that's why, there have been officers, there have been Capitol Police officers. And by the way, if you watch Fox News or just listen to right-wing conservative talk radio, you don't even know this. You don't even know this has been happening. But there are police officers who were there that day who have had to go and testify in some of the trials of these people, of the insurrectionists, officers who have had to go because they were there or they were victims of being attacked, being beaten over the head with their own bully club in some cases, right? These officers have had to go and testify and been called, everybody's very polite in the courtroom, right? Because whoever the individual is who's on trial, who might go to prison for a long time for being a domestic terrorist and acting as such on that day, everybody's very polite in the courtroom so that, and the person who's on trial, of course, very, if not contrite, at the very least respectful of the process that they're going through and whatnot. And very apologetic, right? But what happens outside the courtroom? Multiple instances of this. Once they're outside the courtroom, people are flipping off the Capitol Police officer. People are calling the Capitol Police officer who testified that day a POS. Oh yeah, this has been going on. Again, if you're in the right-wing media bubble, you don't even know this happens, but it happens. There's no shortage of video and audio to show it. Why? Why does it happen? Because there are people in this country who will go around and talk about backing the blue and talking about supporting police. But when it comes to the Capitol Police officers, they look at them as traitors. They won't say it out loud, but trust me, we get the message. They look at them as traitors for not turning on their country, for not turning on the Constitution and actually helping stop the certification of the 2020 election. And I say all that to say these officers are heroes because not only did they have to endure what they went through that day, not only did they have to defend our country, because they had to do more than they're called upon on a given day, right? On any given day, they're involved in law enforcement. But when you're a police officer, you don't think you're going to have to defend the country, right? When you're in the military, you know that you might be called upon to actually go and fight and defend the country. When you're a police officer, you're involved in law enforcement, and obviously the potential is always there to end up in a dangerous situation, to put your life on the line, but you don't expect to be defending the country. You expect to be defending people from a dangerous individual, or you expect to be rescuing someone, or whatever it is, right? You don't expect to be defending the country. That's what the military does. That's not what police officers do. Police officers don't have to defend our country, but that's what they had to do on that day. These police officers had to defend the country from domestic terrorists. And not only did they have to do that, but then afterward, they have to suffer the indignity and the disrespect of not being looked at by a segment of the population as being worthy of the same level of value and gratitude and appreciation as any other police officer. Because there's a segment of American society that looks at these people not as heroes, but as traitors, and it's disgusting. There were, I think, 21 Republicans. It was either 20 or 21 Republicans in the House, by the way, who voted against having this ceremony today. Now, why is that? Why would that be? This seems like a no-brainer. The presentation was bipartisan. Mitch McConnell was there. Kevin McCarthy was there. It wasn't just Pelosi and Schumer. Why would some Republicans oppose something like this? Why? It's politically inconvenient. Because the man who is the presumptive, as I like to call him, the presumptive nominee, it has openly spoken out on multiple occasions by now, on multiple occasions has spoken about pardoning the domestic terrorists who attacked our Capitol on that day. So it's very politically inconvenient, isn't it, for the Republicans who felt compelled to actually vote against, again, people who, I'm sure, under any other circumstance, would love to tell you about how much they back the blue, how much they support law enforcement, how pro-police they are. Oh, but they had to vote against this, didn't they? Because the guy that they're going to nominate to go back to the White House, if he is reelected, is going to start pardoning the very domestic terrorists who injured the officers and killed, like Brian Sicknick, for example, the officers on that day, on January 6th. So it's a little messy, I guess, isn't it? Gets a little politically messy. It's really pathetic. It is so sad. But it is what it is. But I can understand why Brian Sicknick's family didn't feel like shaking a lot of hands. Before we run out of time, I do want to get through the rest of this. Again, I want to honor these officers. I absolutely want to honor these officers. It says here, more than 100 officers who fought off the rioters sustained serious injuries. As the mob of Trump's supporters pushed past them and into the Capitol, police were beaten with American flags and their own guns, dragged downstairs, sprayed with chemicals, and trampled and crushed by the crowd. Officers suffered physical wounds, including brain injuries with lifelong effects. And many struggled to work afterward because they were so traumatized. Four officers who testified at a House hearing last year spoke openly about the lasting mental and physical scars and some detailed near-death experiences. Metropolitan Police Officer Daniel Hodges described foaming at the mouth, bleeding, and screaming as the rioters tried to gouge out his eye and crush him between two heavy doors. Oh, by the way, so the people, there's more, but the people who did that, there's even video of this guy, by the way, being crushed as he's screaming, being crushed in a doorway. The people who did that can look forward to getting pardoned potentially if we reelect Trump in 2024. Just a reminder. Let's see. Metropolitan Police Officer Michael Fanone, who rushed to the scene, said he was, quote, grabbed, beaten, tased, all while being called a traitor to my country, unquote. And there it is. See? That's what I was talking about earlier. MAGA Nation sees these people as traitors. Of course. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn said a large group of people shouted the N-word at him as he was trying to keep them from breaching the House chamber. At least 9 people who were at the Capitol that day died during and after the rioting, including a woman who was shot and killed by police as she tripped the break into the House chamber, and 3 other Trump supporters who suffered medical emergencies. 2 police officers died by suicide in the days that immediately followed. Oh yeah, I've had conversations too with, again, on the air. It's happened on this show where, you know, we're talking about officers who died, and you know, I bring up, or somebody else on the show brings up the subject of, well, what about the officers who committed suicide after this? And actually listening to a human being respond to that with, well, that doesn't count. That was after January 6th. That wasn't during the riot. Unreal. It's incredible what people will justify and rationalize and just be totally okay with in their own minds, just for political purposes. And their love, of course, of the former president. Brian Sicknick collapsed and later died after one of the rioters sprayed him with a chemical. A medical examiner determined he died of natural causes after being sprayed with a chemical. Several months after the attack in August 2021, the Metropolitan Police announced that 2 more of their officers who had responded to the insurrection had died by suicide. The circumstances that led to their deaths were unknown. The June 2021 House vote to award the medals won widespread support from both parties, but 21 House Republicans voted against it. Lawmakers who had downplayed the violence and stayed loyal to Trump. The Senate passed the legislation by voice vote with no Republican objections. Oh, but in the House, there's, 21 Republicans who just, that's going to get a little dicey if we support these officers. With U.S. Army Band singing God Bless America, the ceremony could be the last for some time, marking the events of January 6, 2021, as Republicans in the House majority are unlikely to continue a tradition by commemorating the day. Most of the House Republicans objected to certifying Biden's election. Some newly elected Republican lawmakers were at the Capitol on January 6. Pelosi, McConnell, McCarthy, and Senate Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer awarded the medals. McCarthy, who is in line to become House Speaker when Republicans take control, linked the January 6 heroes to others in law enforcement. The Congressional Gold Medal, the highest honor Congress can bestow, has been handed out since 1776. Previous recipients include George Washington, Sir Winston Churchill, Bob Hope, and Robert Frost. Signing the bill at the White House last year, Biden said the officers' heroism cannot be forgotten. The insurrection was, quote, a violent attempt to overturn the will of the American people, and Americans have to understand what happened, the honest and unvarnished truth. We have to face it, unquote. So there you go. Well, I'm really glad they did this today. And these officers. Oh, John Hopwood has joined us in the chat room, and apparently he is not a fan of Bob Hope. Well, I'm sorry. Well, maybe we can posthumously take back his medal. Let's see. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connerton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is Mike Sutter, the artist formerly known as Grant Lampton, or sometimes known as Grant Lampton.
I was going to say formerly. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
I just wanted to shamelessly plug my gig over at the Strange Brew tonight on Market Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'll be there from 8 o'clock till 11, doing what I do in my spare time. So I'm enjoying the conversation. Again, that was just a shameless plug, but I'm enjoying the conversation y'all are having tonight.
Well,
how are y'all doing?
Good. Shameless plugs are welcome, and so you're playing a long set. That's excellent. 8 to 11. Very good.
Yeah, I'll be all by my lonesome. Apparently, the band that was scheduled got stuck in Chicago at the airport or something, and management called me and said, "Hey, are you available?" And I said, "I'm always available." I mean, That sounds cheap, but I am always, for a price, I'm always available.
There you go. There you
go. If anybody's out and about tonight in the rain and this dirty weather, please come on by and have a beverage and listen to some mirthful music.
And that's a good place to go, too. So that sounds great. Excellent, Mike. Well, very good. Very good. I'm glad you called.
I appreciate it, man. It's good to hear your voice, and I appreciate the conversation as always. I will see you soon.
All right, Mike. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
All the best. Cheers.
All right, that was our friend Mike Sutter, frequently known as Grant Lampton. Playing tonight at the Strange Brew, right? That's a cool. I haven't been in there in a long time. That's a cool place. And he's very talented. Jenny and I finally had a chance to. All the times he's been on the show, I hadn't seen him live until a few weeks ago at the Hop Knot when they did the second Saturday of every month. They do live music. You know, they always have live music on Friday nights, but the second Saturday they have music at the Hop Knot. Actually, this was in the evening. Yeah, this was in the evening. It started in the afternoon into the evening, but Mike played, and then Jenny's son Jesse played. Jesse Coffey. He's also the bar manager there, but he pulled out his guitar and played a set. And it was a really good night. 603-250-6007 if you'd like to get in with a quick call today. 603-250-6007. Let's see. I saw a couple comments in here. I want to make sure we get the Melanie La Liberty in the chat says good for them. I assume good for the officers. She said you can't bow to Trump and also honor those who preserved our democracy. Isaac Banks says, I have to use the bathroom, Matt Connerton. You go right ahead, Isaac Banks. I think that's a worthwhile endeavor. It's actually very healthy for you. I do it every day. I thought I saw another, I wonder what John Hopwood's issue is with Bob Hope. Thought I saw another long comment in there from somebody, but I can't find it now. Okay. Well, we are almost out of time, actually. Oh, Mike Pelopita says, I thought it was already 6 p.m. Clock in the car is off, LOL. John Hopwood says, Larry Doby was awarded the Congressional Medal in 2018, which was redress for the disgrace for his key role in integrating the American League had been ignored for far too long. Oh, I see. Okay, so he integrated baseball. Oh, okay. He was the second African American to play Major League Baseball in the modern era. Oh, well, very good. Easy Beat Greensboro says, that comment just disappeared. Okay. All right. Well, we got to go anyway. We are just about out of time. I do want to remind you, before we do, I wanted to make sure we have a couple of minutes for this. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow it is the Miracle on Elm Street. Peter White will be doing his usual 7 to 9 a.m., but then he'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll be on for several hours. John says Bob Hope was a right-wing prick. Okay. Peter will be back on for several hours into the afternoon from 10 a.m. on, of course, for the Miracle on Elm Street. So that's a great time if you want to bring toys directly to the station. We are at 1045 Elm Street, and we're on the third floor. You can't miss it if you want to drop toys off tomorrow. And then, of course, he'll be heading down for 4 p.m. down to the bonfire for the annual Christmas party, which starts at 4 p.m. And then I'll be here doing my show as usual. Peter said I can come in a few minutes early, start early if I want, since he'll obviously have to leave before 4 to get there for 4. Although it's not far. It's actually, it's really not far. It's like a 2-minute walk. But so yeah, you can drop toys off here, or you can wait and drop them off at Bonfire, toys, or a monetary donation, a check, gift cards, whatever it may be. Or you can drop a check in the mail made out to Hope NH Inc. Send that to WMNH 1045 Elm Street, number 300, care of The Morning Show in Manchester, New Hampshire, 03101. You can do that too. But the top donor will win the prize of sitting in on an episode of The Morning Show if you donate. And, of course, there's also a raffle with many great prizes. Jenny has donated a couple of her beautiful paintings. We've got a $25 gift certificate to the Hop Knot. We've got some Tim Baines donated some gift cards for House of Pizza and Elm House of Pizza, I should say, and lots of other things. That's only a few of the things that have been donated for the raffle, so it's a big deal. But the most important thing is please, 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 toys for the kids. We really appreciate it. And the band Scalawag is going to be performing at the Miracle on Elm Street, and we're actually going to close the show with one more of their songs. We've been featuring some of their music. They played last year. They're going to play again this year. And really good band and good guys, and they really go out of their way to give back to the community. So we appreciate them very much. I'll play the song Scarlet. That'll be a good way to end today's show. If you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. Let's see. There was something. Oh, it is Tuesday, which means immediately after this show is Through the Stage Door, hosted by our friend Rob Dion, and then a replay of Granted State of Mind at 7 p.m. with the great Rob Azevedo, and then from 8 to 11, I believe, it is a replay of last Friday's Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C., along with myself. DJ Steve was here, Texas Mike was here, and Katie from the morning show was with us. So it was a fun show. So that's all tonight. And other than that, and don't forget Grant Lampton at the Strange Brew, Old Habits. I think he said tonight he's as Mike Sutterth at the Strange Brew tonight from 8 to 11, I believe. John Hopwood says, can I donate firearms for the kiddies? I don't think so. I mean, toy guns probably. Or a super soaker where you shoot the water. That would be fun. Okay, anyway, on that note, thank you all. And we're going to leave you with a little bit more from Scalawag. This track is called Scarlet. This is really good. And I will talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.